Hello! Today I wanted to talk about Let It Snow by Maureen Johnson, John Green and Lauren Myracle. Myracle? Myracle? I'm gonna go with Myracle. Let It Snow by these three authors. It's three stories written by these three authors, which I thought... It's three stories by these three authors, which I thought were going to be different, set in different places, but they're not. They're really collaborative. They intertwine plot and character really well, actually. So I didn't really want to talk about the plot all that much because of, spoilers. But briefly, all three stories are kind of about snow, hence the name. And they're all about love, and they're all set around the time of Christmas. But really, I think this was kind of a book that should be read before Christmas, because now it's kind of too far gone and it's not snowing. But I think it's still okay, and it was still nice to read. I think if you read it during Christmas, it's probably a bit more special, but it's still really good elsewise around the year. Especially if you are nostalgic for Christmas and you're like, yeah, I want it to be Christmas already, and it's not Christmas already because it's January and I've got literally a whole year to wait. So I wanted more than anything to just talk about the authors and the writing styles, because they're really nice and they're really distinct, while at the same time building into the same novel. Oh, I should say, this is definitely like a YA novel. It's a very feel-goody kind of book, but all the main characters are teenagers. But I get it, it's classed as YA. I think you could probably enjoy it, no matter what age you are, you could enjoy it. So the first story by Maureen Johnson is about a girl who's on a train to see her grandparents over Christmas, and the train breaks down because of the snow, so she ends up in this little town, and she ends up staying in the town during Christmas. I mean, that's pretty much what I want to tell you about the plot. And there's a possible thing going on with the guy, but what I really liked about this story was the level of detail and the humour that came out of it. She meets a couple of different people, and I didn't expect them to then become integral to the plots of the next couple of stories. I thought they were all going to be completely different. Reading it, I was like, oh, hold on, these people know that dude who was in the first chapter. That's cool. But I think Maureen Johnson's a really good writer. I've never read anything by her before, but I will now be looking out for her because she tunes in to teenagers and to just very realistic emotions and realistic thoughts. Her characters were all really well written, really fantastic, really three-dimensional. Like her main character, she's great, and she's really heartfelt and believable, and I really liked her main character. There's another character in there who's a mum, the mum of one of the characters, who I'm convinced is my mum, because they're so similar. I was reading it out to my wife and she was like, yeah, that's your mum. I think my mum's got some explaining to do. Possibly my mum is Maureen Johnson and just featured herself in her own book. I'm not sure. Maureen Johnson's chapters were really funny and really nicely descriptive. Overall, I think her portion of the book was the strongest. Not to put down the other portions of the book, I just feel that hers was the most interesting and the most well written. The second part of the book is written by John Green. I could talk for days about the merits of John Green as an author or as a person, but I'm going to keep this bit short. It's a really John Greeny type of thing. Characters are very John Green and the plot is very John Green. Not to say that's a bad thing. I'm a huge fan of John Green. I really enjoy his books, and the reason I wanted to read this so badly was because of John Green. I read Will Grayson for the John Green bit, and I ended up discovering David Letterman. In the same way that I've read this for the John Green, but I've discovered Maureen Johnson and Lauren Myracle. So not to say that John Green's chapters were bad, they were exactly what I would expect from a John Green book. They were funny, they were very believable and interesting characters. The storyline was, if I'm to be brutally honest, it was very similar to Paper Towns. What was very nice, there's a love interest there who you pick up on immediately, and you're just shouting at the character she likes you, she obviously likes you, come on, use your brain, she obviously likes you, oh no, she can't possibly like me because we're friends, shut up. Teenagers, man. It was really well written, really enjoyable. It was what I expected and wanted from the John Green chapter, so it fulfilled all of my expectations. And then the last bit is written by Lauren Myracle. I want to say it rhymes with Lyra from His Dark Materials, and I want to say it's Myracle because that's it's a word except one letter is different. I could just look it up. The scientist in me gonna find out the answers.
Hey, my name is Lauren Myracle.
Myracle!
Or Lauren Myracle.
Oh, I don't know if you could hear any of that. So she apparently likes both Lauren Myracle. I should have looked that up at the start of the video, really, so I'm just going to keep on going and apologise. I'm sorry to say, I found Lauren Myracle's bit the weakest. It was still good. It was just the character annoyed me. I think that may have been the point. But she's meant to be annoying because then her friends are saying, you're really annoying, it's all about you, you're so self-centered. And then she starts to think about other people. There's a lot more character development in her story, which I liked. Her character did develop very well. Even though at the end she was alright, it was still a bit unlikable. It was still like the non-likingness hanging over it. And this is the thing, it was very well written, I just didn't like the character, but the character was very well fleshed out. The unlikableness is her self-centered nature. And some people are very self-centered, and I think it was actually very well written. You could still sympathise with her while finding her annoying. I think the best part of the last chapter is that it winds up everything. It has its own story, but then in the last chapter it's a very good denouement for every other story, and I think very well written in that case. Like, to take all these different strands, to take these different characters, written and fleshed out by other writers, and to be able to write them yourself in the same way, I think was very impressive. In that sense, it's probably the most well-written part of the book, but not my favourite. My favourite was definitely the first part. I don't like being negative about books. If you've read the book, or if you're going to read the book, and you end up with an opposing opinion, please let me know. Try and persuade me that I'm wrong here, because I really wanted to like her bit. Maybe it's just that it wasn't as good as the others. This was going to be a really simple review, and now I'm overthinking it. If you haven't read the book, please do, because it's really good. Like, overall, I'm really worried now that I've given this like a bad rap. It's a great book. Like, the overarching story is great, and the intertwining of the characters is fantastic. Parts of it are predictable, but nicely predictable, and I thought that was really sweet. At the end of the day, it's a feel-good book, and I felt good reading it. I wanted to read more, and overall, it's really intelligent, and it's really funny, and the characters are all very well fleshed out, very well written. They're not in any way like stereotypical of teenagers. They're what good YA should be, which is believable characters, people that when you're reading it you can identify with. You're not just going, oh, that's the jock, that's this person. They're all fleshed out and they're real, and that's what I like about YA. It's what I like about David Levithan's stuff. It's what I like about John Green's stuff. It's not just that someone is a nerd. They're a nerd with other aspects to their personality. They are ultimately human. Yeah, so if you've read it, let me know, and if you haven't, then read it. In particular, anyone can recommend any similar writers to these people, please do let me know. I'd love to read more Maureen Johnson. I'd like to read more Lauren Myracle, because she's a very good writer. Anyway, please comment anyway, and subscribe, like, and thank you very much for watching.